Coming up on All About Android, it's me, Jason Howell. We got Ron Richards and Win Twit Dow, and we got a lot of news to talk about, starting with, I don't want to spoil the surprise, but I'm gonna. Google I.O. Yeah, we know some details about Google I.O. Also, there's a Coca-Cola phone for all of you Coca-Cola fanatics out there. Probably only for you Coca-Cola fanatics. Anyways, it's a sight to behold. Fairphone 2 wins an award. We give an award on this episode. You gotta watch. Unihertz Luna is very LED-y. New silicon carbon battery tech is found in the Honor Magic 5. What does that even mean? We'll talk about it. And we know the dessert for Android 15. That's next year's version of Android. What is the dessert? You're going to have to watch to find out. All About Android is next.
Podcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
This is All About Android, episode 620, recorded Tuesday, March 7th, 2023. Fairphone 2, we salute you. This episode of All About Android is brought to you by ACI Learning. If you love IT Pro, you'll love ACI Learning. ACI Learning offers fully customizable training for your team in formats for all types of learners across audit, cybersecurity, and IT. From entry-level training to putting people on the moon, ACI Learning has got you covered. Visit go.acilearning.com/twit to learn more. Hello, welcome to All About Android, your weekly source for the latest news, hardware, apps, and Google I.O. in the Android world for the Android faithful. That's what I normally say. I'm Jason Howell.
It's that time of year. I'm Ron Richards.
Google I.O. time. I'm Win Twit Dow.
Yeah, but we're not even going to lead with that story. That's just like a tease.
No.
It's coming a little
But it
bit
really
later.
is. It is a tease, and it is a tease that this show in our lives is just Groundhog's Day on a yearly basis.
It really is.
Like Mobile World, like CES,
Yes.
Mobile World Congress, Google I.O., new version of Android.
At this point, this hamster wheel is really familiar. We run on the wheel a little bit, and there goes the Mobile World Congress sign. And then we run a little bit more, and there goes the invite to Google I.O. And then we run. Yeah, it's pretty known quantity at this point. But we're here because we love the journey. And apparently you do too, because you subscribe to an Android show. And you listen to it on a weekly basis, which we really appreciate.
You're part of the problem or the solution. I don't know.
You are both. You are everything, dear listener / viewer. You are everything to everyone here. Yeah. So we got some stuff to talk about. Got some pretty groundbreaking news. So why don't we don't need to do preamble because we got news to talk about. Let's do it. Burke, are you ready? Push the big red button.
I'm really looking forward to this new ice cream sandwich.
Ice cream sandwich.
Let's kick it. Word to your mother.
Dun, dun,
Ice
dun, 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 dun.
sandwich.
No, it's like mine goes dun 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 dun, and theirs goes dun 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 dun.
Dun 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 dun.
One of
Good
the
one.
greatest interviews
Good
of all
one.
time with Ice Cube. Vanilla Ice.
Vanilla Ice.
Vanilla Ice.
Vanilla Ice. No, because Ice Tea or Ice Cube would have been much different. But
Yeah.
They would have been great in their own terms, but Vanilla Ice.
explaining that he did not steal the bass line for the song that he did steal. So.
Yes.
His producer did.
Yeah, did he produce his own music? Anyways, doesn't matter. We're here to talk about what Burke just said, but I'm not going to say it anymore because I don't want to steal Wynn's thunder.
Well, I mean, yes, we have, we've kind of been missing the dessert names for Android, the official ones. They still exist. And so in our little heart of Android faithful hearts, we can still celebrate when we finally learn that the newest version of Android, Android 15, is going to be called Vanilla Ice Cream.
What?
Dun, 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 dun.
VIC, Vic.
Here's the thing about this is that this used to be so much fun with the new version of Android. Like the speculation. Jason, remember we used to we'd ask everyone what they think it's going to be. We kept track and all this sort of stuff.
We ate the food.
And nothing against Mishal, who's fantastic and part of the team, and I adore him. But I don't like it being revealed this early because it's stealing the whole speculation away. And this is how it's been for years now, right? When they just get ahead of it and they're like, oh, it's this.
Well,
I don't
but
know, just
it's not
yeah.
only that though. Google itself has really decided, okay,
Let's move on.
let's not go crazy on this whole dessert thing. You know,
Yep.
like it still exists. It's behind doors for the most part. It's buried inside of, like, where was this found? This was spotted in trade fed
Trade
commits,
fed.
which I wanted to ask you when, what the heck is a trade fed?
I mean, I had to ask Michelle what they are. So, TradeFed is basically a continuous testing suite that allows like vendors and other manufacturers to kind of run tests that kind of qualify them to, basically license Android. I think that's the right thing. I might be wrong, but basically it's just a test suite. And so part of this test suite, it gets code committed. So this was in like some Google source. So it was in the, I think it was actually in the commit, like in the code, it said vanilla ice cream.
No,
Ooh.
it said, no, you know what it said? It said Vic-Dev, VIC.
Oh, it said Vic-Dev. Okay.
Vic-Dev.
Yeah.
And then I think Michelle confirmed that it's vanilla ice cream.
There might have been
VIC.
another commit where they actually wrote out.
Yeah,
vanilla
it could be.
ice
Could be.
cream. Dang it. Vanilla ice cream. Vanilla
ice cream. I mean, really, is it really vanilla ice cream? No, it's vanilla. But they needed a dessert to put it on. And of course, you're going to put it on ice cream. It's the letter in the alphabet is not VIC. The letter is V.
Well,
So it's
because vanilla isn't a dessert, mind you.
Yeah,
vanilla
you're not
is
gonna
like
sit down and drink a bowl of vanilla.
Is a spice. Is a spice. You know, like you're getting vanilla. Like you can have vanilla leaves or vanilla
Yeah.
extract or whatever. But it could be vanilla cake. It could be vanilla ice cream. It could be vanilla icing. It could be like there's a whole bunch of different vanilla things that could happen.
Do you think they thought, wait a minute, we already have had ice cream in our past?
Ice cream sandwich. Yeah.
Ice cream sandwich.
Yeah.
We're going to return to the well of ice cream. Although that sounds delicious to return to a well of ice cream. I would return
I would
to that
gladly go to a well of ice cream right now.
Y'all go ahead. I'm lactose intolerant. You all go ahead. That sounds
okay.
so good.
Sorry.
Well, it's coconut milk ice cream.
Okay. But then it's not vanilla. Then it can't be vanilla ice cream.
I
Then
mean, it's vanilla flavored coconut milk ice cream, which it's not the same. It's just not the same. I'm trying for you. I understand.
It's okay.
that.
I
feel
appreciate
for
it.
you.
Just let me know how it is. I'll wait. I'll wait outside the well with life preservers and a hose.
All right. So this is, by the way, just to be clear, this has nothing to do with this year's version of Android. This is next year's version of Android
Which is
15.
even more like it's like, so what is this year's then?
It's upside down cake.
Upside down cake, right? Yeah.
So
Oh,
again,
man.
it's upside because letter U.
Nice.
But yeah, whatever. I guess they've been doing the multi-word desserts for a while now. This is nothing new. But yeah, it's upside down cake is Android 14. It's just not something that Google makes a big deal of.
I will
anymore.
admit, Jason, I was in the supermarket the other day and I walked by a display of whatever latest Oreo concoction there is, and it was just so ridiculous. And I forget what it was. It might have been like Oreo quadruple stuff or something. Like it was something ridiculous. I wonder what it might be. But I did think for a moment that like, oh, I miss the days of the Oreo
I don't.
Oreo adventures that we did. You know?
I don't.
Wow.
I don't. I'm totally burnt on Oreos. We get Oreos.
Oh, here it is. I found it. It's called the Most Oreo.
The Most.
Oh, geez.
So it's like if you really, really, really like the stuffing.
It's the Most Oreo, and what it is, it's a limited edition cookies and cream Oreo, where the middle filling is cookies and cream flavored, and it's like double stuff large. And yeah,
so the cream has
they stuffed
chunks of Oreo cookie
exactly
in it.
It says the Most Oreo sandwich cookies are the classic original snack cookies you always known and love, but with the unforgettable twist of cookies and cream flavor cream you never knew you wanted. These cookies and cream flavored Oreo cookies are full of themselves, literally. Each kosher Oreo cookie is
morbid.
I didn't know they were kosher. Each kosher Oreo cookie is filled with layers of Oreo cookies and cream, making them supremely dunkable and delicious. Dunk into the Oreo-verse with the brand's most playful cookie yet.
Uh-huh.
I am so hungry right now. I really do. I used to. I'm kind of feel like here and there about branded Android names. Kind of like Kit Kat was fun.
Yeah.
Oreo.
Yeah.
Oreo. They kind of really took it to a branded place. But I do regret.
There was a lot of runway with Oreo. That's for sure.
A ton. I do regret that, like with Android V, we're not going to get Android Viennetta ice cream, which is an ice cream cake.
Right.
That would have worked. Does anyone
Viennetta ice
Viennetta?
cream? No,
Yeah.
I don't. I'm searching.
I've had
it right
Viennetta.
now.
Yeah, no, that's just it's a fantastic cake. Would you
Looks
know what
delicious.
We did
I've never
during
had
the
it,
Oreo
though.
year? Are you
What's
you
that?
aware of what happened on the show that you missed out on?
Oh,
Every
well-
week we ate a different flavor of Oreo cookie and rated it.
Oh, was that fun? Like the first week, second week,
so
and then
many flavors.
There was so many flavors, and
We committed to the bit.
we
committed to the
totally
bit.
committed. I mean, we did it for a full year. Every single episode was a flavor we had never tried before. At a certain point, it got really hard because I had to like source these things, and there are tons of flavors out there, but some of them are in production and some of them were not, as evidenced by some of the cookies that I bought through like eBay and Etsy
Oh,
because
Lord.
I ran out of like,
Yeah,
oh
they're,
no.
like, broken up and crushed. and
There
all
there
kinds
was
of
one
stuff.
package that I got. I can't remember the flavor, but literally I pulled it out of the bag. And you know how the Oreo thing has the little flap that is like
Oh, I
attached
remember
by
that.
plastic on both sides, right? It's the tamper-proof flap.
Yeah.
Well, that flap, like whoever sold that, like did not have a care in the world. They had opened it up. It was totally busted. All the cookies were all crumbled and everything. That person was just like, oh, this fool on the internet wants some cookies. Here you go. Take mine. And I ended up with, I did not eat those, by the way.
I like that. If the Beatles were around now, they would have recorded "Fool on the Internet."
Yeah. I like that joke. That's a good joke.
Thank you. I try. I have my moments. So.
Fool on the internet. Okay. Well, Google might not be so like hyped about its dessert name, code name, or whatever. But Google is hyped about Google I/O. We know this because earlier today they did what they usually do, and I got two pieces of news for you. I got good news and I got bad news. So which one do you want? And choose good news.
I'm gonna go for good news.
Okay, yes, I can happily
Cool.
oblige. Okay,
Great.
Google I/O now has a date. It released its online puzzle, and anyone who's very motivated, i.e., not me, we banded together. It was like a communal effort to solve this online puzzle together. So everybody was working to crack the code. I have no idea even how to explain how this game worked, so I'm not even going to try, but it involved lots of colorful dots and numbers and I/O, ins and outs and everything, all related to Google I/O, whatever. Many people who are much smarter than I am that actually decided to attempt to solve the puzzle did. And apparently the date is May 10th. So this is a Wednesday. Google I/O 2023, May 10th, Wednesday, the day after All About Android.
And the day after my birthday and Flo's
And the
birthday.
day after, that's right. Yes, Ron and Flo's birthday is the day before Google I/O. So there we go. Now we have the bad news. Are you ready? Ready
All
for
right.
this? Once again, as far as we know, it's a limited live audience affair. So there's going to be the main keynote with Sundar Pichai, followed by a dev keynote, then YouTube sessions. I mean, the only date that they announced here is May 10th. It's not like they said Google I/O, May 10th through the 13th or 10th through the 12th. It's May 10th. They're talking about this limited thing. Now, having said that, I have got my invite and I have accepted it. So I am going. Have you received anything?
I got an invite and I am going.
Wynn got an invite and she is going. Ron, you got an invite. You're going, right?
I got an invite to text you and ask you how it's going from New York because I did not get an invite.
That is not fair.
I'm going to be at the window of Moscone again going,
Open,
and then wonder why nobody's there. But, yeah.
I'll be there. I'll hang out with you in the parking lot. This will not stand, Google. Ron must go to Google I/O. I think he'd probably come out this time if he got the invite.
I mean, if they had me, I would gladly come out. It's been a while. I'm due for a trip. I would love to meet you in person.
I know,
right? I mean,
dude.
we've never actually been in the same place at the same time. So,
Isn't the internet
I don't know,
weird? Isn't that strange?
well,
we know people
what's
so
funny,
well, and yet we've never seen them face to face.
exactly.
So
Yeah.
weird.
But I was joking with Mashal that we'll just hang out in the parking lot.
Yeah, there we go.
So, yeah.
Yep.
So.
Okay.
We'll see what can be done there. Maybe we can work some magic behind the scenes. I have no idea, but
Doubtful. I'm not getting my hopes up. Let's just
Yeah.
put that out. Yeah. So,
May 10th.
but we'll see.
Day after your birthday. I mean, it's day after your birthday. It's like a birthday present.
It would be
Should be a birthday present from Google.
It would be a nice birthday present if Google really cared about me. They would. But we'll see. So.
Wrapped with a bow.
Yep.
So when you were there last year, you got to see the interesting Google I/O that there was to be had. Like, what are your thoughts as far as like what we know about this upcoming one? I mean, obviously they're inviting more people. Last year was very limited, and this seems limited, but they're obviously casting the net a little wider than they did last year. Are you are you excited about the changes, or are you like, oh no, is this going to be the same thing? Because if so, I don't know.
I'm excited to see y'all. I mean, so it was interesting. They didn't even have any press last year, right? Or they did, or they didn't.
It was minimal press. It was my
Okay.
memory of that. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think my husband and I were just talking about it today. He didn't get an invite. So we'll see. But it kind of felt like we were just butts in seats. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I don't want to look a gift horse in the mouth. But the fact that we were only there for the keynote and there wasn't much other else unless you were already part of some kind of Google or developer group like Women Who Code or one of the other organizations that had like little meet and greets after like the big event.
Yeah.
I think actually, was there 2 events? I don't even remember. It was that unimpactful. It was like, oh, we're here. And I was really glad to see our Android fam that were there, but it was very underwhelming compared to
And it was done at like 2:30, right? Or something?
Yeah, we were.
You were like, oh, we're done. We're leaving now.
My husband and I was Chuki, friend of the show, Chuki, and we just were like, well, it was kind of like that gif of John Travolta from Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
Kind of walk around, like,
Yes.
And then we're like, okay, we'll get lunch. Well, they gave us lunch. We're like, okay, we'll go home.
Okay.
We'll go home.
All right. So
how about over here?
So
no, sorry,
we're done here. We're done.
We're done.
Okay. All right.
Okay. It was like that.
Awkward.
Yeah.
Really, it was so awkward, like incredibly awkward. The messaging was weird too. Like they didn't just say, okay, like that's it for the live portion.
Right.
Have a great year. You know, we just kind of like, okay, I think we should go.
Was there even a mic drop or anything?
Nah.
Dave Burke didn't come out there and just hold up a mic and go.
No,
that's too bad. Missed opportunity.
So I did note though that on the schedule this year, it is one day, but it is from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. But I don't know what that means. Does that mean the live stream goes at 10 p.m.? So maybe there's a thing.
That's
maybe
an interesting detail I did not see. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
And if there's a party, I mean, you might as well stay the night, because it's a party. They don't want you, going to the airport after a party, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's wacky. I mean, it's wacky.
Yeah. But it is also early. It's a couple of months in advance. I think even when Google announced old school, and by old school, I mean pre-COVID Google I/Os before, they still had the range of days, and you still had a sense that it was a multi-day event. And this really seems like it's a one-day thing. It's like one big day. And there might be other days that there are streams and stuff, because they're talking about these YouTube streams and everything. And it would be kind of strange if Google I/O suddenly got reduced to 2 keynotes and then a number of live streams that happen on the same day as the keynote, and then it's all done like that. But maybe, I don't know. Like maybe, maybe just Google's hit hard like all other tech companies are right now by the economy. They've had to do lots of layoffs, petitioning, the people who control the money for an entire, conference, multi-day conference. Maybe that posed a really big problem this year. And so it's like, okay, well, let's give them more than what we had last year. And then next year would be the 5-year anniversary since the last full Google I/O, if you can believe it. So maybe next year is the year where they say, it's been 5 years, we're back, baby. And they just come back full board. I don't know. Total guessing.
We'll find out in a couple months.
Yeah.
And I'm sure we'll be here to complain / rave / somewhere in the middle.
We'll be here to say words about it. Whatever those words happen to be, I don't know. Ron, you're muted. Don't mute yourself. We want to hear all of your words.
I sneezed and I didn't want to mute. I didn't want to hear you then. We'll see if there's any more logic puzzles to reveal the schedule.
No.
So
no.
Well, in terms of like years to develop and happen and things like that, some interesting news about one of our favorite phones, the Fairphone. Remember the Fairphone 2? Jason,
yeah?
You remember that one?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we want to give them a nice little pat on the back here, because Fairphone released its LST software update for the Fairphone 2.
It was last. I missed a letter A.
Oh, last. I was like, LST, what does that mean? I'm not wearing any pants.
I'm Ron Burgundy.
So they released their last software update for the phone 7 years after it was released. It was released in 2015.
Wow.
The device originally had a 3 to 5 year update promise. They got 7 years of updates instead. A total of 43 software updates. Around 15,000 Fairphone 2 phones are still in use. And they say, we recommend that you avoid using apps that access sensitive data after May 2023. If there's a severe vulnerability that the Fairphone 2 is susceptible, we won't be able to fix it. They're offering a €50 voucher for its reuse and recycling program as an incentive for users of the older devices to upgrade to a newer Fairphone. And for what it's worth, the Fairphone 4 has a 6-year software update promise. And it looks like Fairphone is delivering on these promises. That's pretty cool. Good for them. So if you're one of the 15,000 Fairphone 2 users, upgrade. And Jason's gonna do a standing.
Totally.
Woo!
Go out of
that. Jason's applauding.
Yeah, you did it. You
wow.
did it, Fairphone. Woo!
Jason's really into this.
Wow.
Yeah. Woo!
Oh. Wow.
We did it. 7 years of updates. I just feel like it deserved a little something more. We got to encourage other phone manufacturers to do the same thing. We'll stand up and applaud you too.
Sure, for sure.
We will.
Yeah.
And not just me. Like, we'll all get up and dance. So, yeah.
There you go.
Okay. I just needed a little excitement. And Fairphone 2.
You really got into that.
Yeah,
really
sometimes you got to dedicate yourself to the bit a little bit.
Yeah.
But 7 years, that's impressive. That's really
amazing.
impressive. For a phone to be getting like regular updates. What was the total number of updates? That was
43. I think
43 software updates.
43 software updates.
And 43 software updates for a device that there are only 15,000 of them kind of currently being used at this point. So by the way, the software update is one every other month for all 7 years of the phone existing.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
So
that's impressive.
Good. Yeah.
I mean, a company that has a whole fleet of devices that they're updating, it would be a lot to expect that they would put that amount of time into keeping the phone updated every other month. All of their individual phones, all of their individual updates for 7 years, every other month doing that. Hard to imagine that would happen, but that's why we got to stand up and applaud when it does. And Fairphone, you got it. You got it. You're in it to win it. And I appreciate that. We salute you, Fairphone.
Bravo.
2.
That's just an amazing amount of software support. And I can't, to give them full credit, I don't know a lot of companies that would commit to software support.
No, exactly.
Hard. That is amazing, y'all. Like supporting a phone like that old for that long and committing to it is, and they sounded sad. Like I think in their statement, it almost sounded like they were like apologizing for not doing it indefinitely, which is just bonk. Like, that's insane. That really does deserve like an out of frame, like clapping and dancing. Cause that's ridiculous. Like there's a reason why we kind of have to like let it go. Like you have to kind of give even big manufacturers a pass when it gets to like 5, 6, 7 years because the ROI is not there.
Right.
And Fairphone has committed. That's insane. That's extremely laudable. And I hope, I hope their balance sheets look great because I cannot imagine that much of hours into that. That's insane. They do deserve, like, can we give them like an Oscar or something? It's like Oscar season, right? Like an honorary Oscar for like best support.
I can give them
or something.
Yeah, we can.
There we go.
We've got an applause sound effect. It might be
Good
MP3,
enough.
it might be WAV file. I don't know, but either way, it's what we got. And we've got an out of frame, really tall guy applauding you for far too long to where it got awkward. So there you go. That's what you get from us. That's all we have.
And love.
Thank you.
So much love.
Thank you, Fairphone 2. Okay, let's take a break and then we'll get into some hardware news. That was kind of hardware news, but we deserved it. We felt it deserved to be above the fold. But we will get to more hardware news coming up in a moment. But first, this episode of All About Android is brought to you by ACI Learning. I don't know if you noticed this, Burke. You might want to take that wide shot and remove the lower third for a second, because I just want you to see, boom, we got ACI all up in this business. This studio is all about ACI Learning. ACI Learning is awesome. IT Pro brings you engaging and entertaining IT training we've been talking about on this network for years. Now IT Pro is part of ACI Learning. Together, IT Pro and ACI Learning are expanding their production capabilities. They're bringing you the content and learning style you need at any stage in your development. So whether you want or need individual training for yourself, or you have a whole team that you want to get them all trained, ACI Learning and IT Pro have you covered. Join more than 227,000 members of the IT Pro Learning community. You get access to 6,800 hours, 6,800 hours of content. New content added daily. You get your team training for CompTIA, for Microsoft IT training, Cisco training, Linux training, Apple training, security, cloud. I mean, you name it. There's training galore to be found at ACI Learning. One of the most widely recognized beginner certifications is the CompTIA A+. Now, CompTIA courses from IT Pro and ACI Learning make it super easy to level up your employees who have vested interests in cybersecurity. The most popular certifications offered by ACI Learning, there's a number of them, but they include CISSP, AWS, ISACA, CCNA, just to name a few acronyms. But there's a whole lot more acronyms on the site. You can check it out. Other in-demand tech skills and certification courses offered are technical support specialist. You've got computer user support specialist, information security analyst, and so much more. And certifications show, as you probably are aware, a lot more than proving a skill set. They let your customers see that you're committed to keeping your organization up to date. And ACI Learning and IT Pro are with you every step of the way. With an IT Pro business plan, ACI Learning offers fully customizable training for your team, so you can track your team's results. You can manage your teams much easier. So, I mean, all together, you get this ability to manage, different groups, different subsets and teams. You can access monthly usage reports and see metrics, things like logins and viewing time. So, that they're actually checking out what they've been assigned to check out, and, that they're actually growing their skills the way you hope they are. Reporting on the usage of that platform, super key. Assignments can be full courses. They can be individual episodes within courses, and you get advanced reporting, not just the standard reporting, but you get immediate insight into your team's viewing patterns, your progress over any period of time with visual reports, all of that attached to it. Respected companies and government agencies around the globe are turning to IT Pro and ACI Learning year after year to help them maintain their competitive edge, supporting organizations across audit, IT, and cybersecurity readiness. ACI Learning keeps you and your team at the top of your game. That's why you need them. From entry-level training to putting people on the moon, ACI Learning has got you covered. Maintain your company's competitive edge with ACI Learning and visit go.acilearning.com/twit. That's go.acilearning.com/twit. And for those of you looking to start today with a standard or premium individual IT Pro membership, use TWIT30. Make sure and use that code. You'll get 30% off. And we thank ACI Learning and IT Pro for sponsoring this episode, for sponsoring this studio, and for teaching a whole lot of people that we've heard from in the many years that we've had IT Pro on the network and now ACI Learning. All those people that have leveled up their skills, you can do it too. So check it out. Thank you very much. All right. And now it's time for some very interesting hardware news.
All right, I gotta say that this Mobile World Congress phone announcement has got my my interest for multiple reasons. Company by the name of Unihertz, great name. They might have a little envy of our good friends over at Nothing because they showed off their new device at Mobile World Congress, the Unihertz Luna. which, by the way, is my daughter's name, not Unihertz, but Luna. So I was like,
That's a great name for a kid.
this could be her first phone. But Unihertz Luna, I named her Unihertz. I didn't, it was just inspiring. No. So the Unihertz Luna has LEDs on the back that look very similar to the Nothing Phone 1. In fact, they got the attention of Nothing CEO Carl Pei, who went over to their booth and took a picture of him holding both phones side by side, which is, that's pretty good. That's pretty good marketing right there for Unihertz. Unihertz, though, is positioning the phone at a lesser price point. In fact, no more than $300, according to the company. It's running a MediaTek Helio G99 system on a chip. It includes 8 gig of RAM and 256 gig of UFS 2.2 flash storage, and is scheduled to launch sometime this month. So for $300, you could have a entry level phone or lower, mid-tier, lower mid-tier phone with really cool LEDs on the back.
Oh,
so there it is.
So we've talked about Unihertz before. Do you remember back in 2017, the jelly?
I do.
Do you remember the Unihertz jelly? Yeah. I think I have it somewhere. I think I might even have it in the office. I wish I had thought to bring it out, because it was it's probably like that big. It's the tiny, tiny little smartphone. It's smart, tiny Android phone. Throw a SIM in it. The thing is literally, it's like that big. It's so small. Anyways, So they do interesting things. I think a lot of times in the past they've done them via Kickstarter, as like a kind of a launch plan or whatever, kind of a promotional thing. So maybe they've graduated from needing to do that at this point. They've been around long enough, but $300 for the Luna. It looks like it's a pretty stylish looking phone. Mm-hmm. If you like your LEDs.
It's a great name.
Color LEDs.
Color LED. Yes, not just white. Yeah. These LEDs.
The color is nice. With this phone and with Nothing and with all the LED stuff, I know we joke about ROG and the gamer phones and gamer cases, but it's coming, everybody. It's this level of flair on the phones is definitely on the horizon. I think in a year from now, lots of phones are going to have these little accoutrements to brighten up your phone on the outside, whether for good or for bad.
As a person who, when they last built a PC, just threw in all the LEDs, LED RG, or LED RAM, LED board, LED, extra LEDs in the case, I'm okay with that.
You're an LED fan.
I have LED fans as well. Actually.
Okay.
Yes, there were LED
fans.
cases.
That's quite what I meant, but okay.
I'm an LED fan.
Yes, I'm a fan of LED fans.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this device, by the way, has a 3.5 millimeter headphone jack. Just saying, some of you out there are still grasping at that straw. So there you go. It does not have 5G. It looks like it's just 2G, 3G, and 4G. Thank God.
For $300, what do you expect?
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Well,
there are devices that are pretty inexpensive.
Look at those lights.
But that's what you're getting. What you're getting is that swirly circular.
I want to know what
thing on the back and the lights.
What is that circle in the middle? What is that?
Yeah, it kind of
is
looks
that
like
just their branding, or
kind of just looks like the brand.
Maybe it was like a wireless charging, but not for $300.
That would be a pretty special.
have a magnet
also
thing.
Thing to have.
I like if we look at the Unihertz website, I will give them credit for promoting their new phone, and it says Luna, embrace the light in your life.
It's very motivational message.
They also have a phone called they also have a phone called the TikTok S, but it's not spelled like TikTok. It's TICK.
Oh dear.
I like this company.
Unihertz TikTok.
I like this company. Ooh, they have the Titan Pocket. They have a physical keyboard phone.
Yes, they do. The Titan. I remember that a couple of years ago. They had the physical keyboard. The TikTok S, dual screen, 5G, slim, rugged smartphone. Oh, it's got all the.
Oh, it's rugged.
Yes, exactly.
Oh,
it's rugged. It's dual screen.
What does it?
I like
what is going on?
The tagline also. The tagline also is TikTok S, not just 5G, better 5G.
Ooh.
Wait.
How do
is
you
it called
deliver
TikTok
on that?
because there's a watch on the case? Wait, there's a watch face on the case.
Yes.
There's a watch.
Is that it? Like,
So that's
Oh my
like
God,
that's so weird.
I like this company. They make a phone called the Tank, which is the largest battery 4G rugged smartphone with a 22,000 milliamp battery.
Wait, what?
It's called the
wait, how
It's called
many?
the Tank.
I love that.
22,000. It's only $369. This is my next phone.
Damn. Yeah, it's on sale right now. Buy it now and save $30. Looks
Tank,
like.
a versatile
What the-
rugged outdoor smartphone.
Okay, how fat is this phone?
It's I mean,
This is a
it's,
chonker.
it's
Yeah.
a chonker. Yeah, it's got a chubby butt.
It's got a bright flashlight on the back of it.
This phone's sporting a butt enhancer filter.
It's got a plump butt. That's
Yep.
not foreshadowing for later.
Oh my God, look at this. It says mighty battery, kill your battery anxiety. It takes 1.8 hours to get up to 90% charging, 150 hours phone call time, 2,380 hours standby time.
Wow.
What on earth?
Wow.
You can charge other devices with it.
It has a
This is
bright
fantastic.
flashlight on the back. The back panel of the Tank has a huge
It's just a
LED
light.
panel. It's like a panel of LED that's for a flashlight. So it's not a tiny little dot to shine.
I like how Unihertz is so conceptual. Like they take a concept
Here, it's in the
and they
Slack. There you go.
run with it. Like they're like Forrest Gump running across country. They're like, hey, you want nothing lights? There.
Oh,
Wait,
wow,
what is-
what was that?
All right, sorry, I didn't mean to
What
go
was the
down a
website?
Unihertz rabbit hole, but
No,
there
this
we
is,
are.
this is
Yeah.
fascinating.
this is awesome. Look at
Yeah,
that.
look at that LED panel. It's just like, can you imagine how bright that gets? I mean, you've got the battery to drive it, so it doesn't matter how bright it gets. It's not
crazy.
going to run down your battery. 2,200 milliamp hours. That's crazy. There you go. That'll like light up the room, basically. Yeah.
I'm stunned. I don't.
Good
Wow.
going, Unihertz.
Good on
All
you.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, Unihertz. So.
Well,
Well, they're nothing though, right, Win?
they are no
Unihertz
nothing.
ain't nothing. Yeah.
They ain't nothing.
They ain't nothing.
Well, how do you follow up a 22,000 milliamp battery? Well, how about with the Nothing Phone 2, which
okay.
we did talk about and which was announced to, last week to have a Snapdragon 8 series chip. There was maybe a little bit of a slip from a Qualcomm executive who claimed that the Nothing Phone 2 would have the Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1, but that was retracted. And the more generic statement of, something in the Snapdragon 8 family. If it is true, though, and if that was a true slip and not just kind of like a gaffe or kind of an incorrect statement, it is interesting to note that, the Nothing 2, which we have yet to know much more about, would be rocking the 2022, Snapdragon 8 chip. It's definitely more powerful than the previous versions, Snapdragon 778G Plus in the phone. But, it's kind of interesting since we talked about the interview that Carl Pei did with, was it Inverse magazine? Where he definitely stated that the Nothing 2 would be a premium phone. It's just interesting to note that, we've talked a lot about a lot of premium / flagship phones that have the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2. But if this is true, then the Nothing 2 would be premium, but still rocking the Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1, which is still a freaking awesome chip by all accounts. Nothing to complain about. But that is interesting. And our very own Florence Ion, in her write-up of this, did note that it kind of jives with Carl Pei's playbook of using kind of like the last gen chips in the first couple of OnePlus flagship phones. So, who knows what could end up there, but that might be kind of, again, Pei's playbook of kind of keeping costs down, but still keeping things relatively premium. So we'll see that. But if you like your Nothing Phone 2, you might be interested to know that there is some other Nothings coming out. The Nothing speaker, actually. So from leaker Kuba Wojciechowski. we have some leaks of what could be renders of a Nothing speaker, showing that maybe Nothing is really trying to amp up kind of an ecosystem, big family of products. That's not that. That is the very lovely earshakes that Ron and I have. I actually the third link. Yeah. Jason, you're the musician. What is this render? I looked at this and I had no idea.
That was going to be what I was going to ask you both too. Like this render. So Burke, it's the third link of the story in the doc. It's a 91mobiles.com link, and there is a render of this thing that no matter how many times I look at it, I have no idea what sense.
I don't. What is it? It's a speaker.
Well, supposedly.
Describe it.
I don't even. Yes, it's.
How do we describe this to audio? Like it's
I don't know.
It's a square.
Like it's hard to know it's hard to know kind of like the size and dimension of it. But yeah, it's a square with a bunch of holes, and apparently it's a speaker. I don't know. It looks like a washer.
In the middle, is the hole in the middle a display?
I mean, it kind of looks that way with the Nothing dot matrix thing. There's like some random weird little side buttons. One of them's red. It looks like a random.
Are speakers.
Yeah, but they're both very like one is circular, one is pill shaped. I have no idea what any of this means.
Yeah. And it's hard because the render has no context to sizing, so you don't know. Yeah, like it is weird. But you can see on the side, it's got little buttons and little red accent button there.
So it definitely feels like a Nothing branded something.
Nothing branded something. Well, it's obviously something. It's not totally nothing, but as far as I can tell, it's pretty much nothing. I have no idea what I'm looking at.
Is that a handle at the top? What is?
Yeah,
there's like a translucent handle looking thing.
I suppose it's a portable speaker that you can carry around with you.
That they hang stuff for retail, and it's like this little tiny thing. It's like the size of an iPod.
I mean, it's impossible for us to know any different. There's no scale or anything. Provide better leaks. People out there leaking things. Of course, you can only provide what you have. But yeah, I'm so confounded and confused by this.
Handle. It's a handle, so you can rock it, like hang it.
I guess so.
It looks like a cutting board.
Yeah, let's name all the things this could be. When I look at it, I think like a weird like washing machine.
It does look like a washing machine with two doors.
Yeah, it's strange. Yeah, it could be a washing machine. It also kind of looks like a foldable device, like it's all folded.
It looks like a clamshell phone. Yeah, foldable. Totally.
So, yeah. Who knows what we're actually looking at? Apparently, it's a speaker, but I'm not sure I buy it yet.
Like, is it like a portable Bluetooth speaker? Is it like a full size speaker for your house with like actual? I mean, are those? I don't know much about audio. What are the terms? Is that a sub? I don't. Does that even make sense? It'll be like a subwoofer.
Now that you say that, I think those two upper holes are the higher frequency or tweeters, and the lower ones are the bass,
like a mid and a bass or something like that. Yeah, I don't know. And it also looks really like a kid opened up a 3D rendering piece of software and just like started creating random things. Oh, I could put a circle over here. Oh, I could put a pill shape over here. And that's what we have. Yeah, I don't know. It was peculiar to me when I came across that. I was like, I don't even know what I'm looking at. So we have to talk about it, obviously.
I mean, Kuba's had some really good leaks, but
and
I've always been impressed, like since coming on the show with y'all, that like the fidelity of renders and how people get this information. This is probably not any like ding against Kuba. This is probably on the more ambiguous / amorphous /
ambiguous.
I don't know what I'm looking at end of the spectrum of renders. So,
it's a nothing washer. Nothing washing machine. Yeah.
Write us and tell us what you think.
Yeah, there we go. AAA at twit.tv. Let us know what you think it looks like. Or explain it. Better yet, if you can crack this and figure it out, tell us what we're missing because it is so weird. I don't understand. This next one, though, pretty easy to understand. And it's
an icon.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not a whole lot to decode here. The Coca-Cola phone, if you were waiting for a Coca-Cola phone, it is finally here. Realme has a partnership with Coca-Cola, brings you a phone you never knew you wanted, the Realme 10 Pro 5G Coca-Cola Edition. And it even comes, so the phone box looks like a box that cans of Coke come in. Which I thought that was kind of clever. Like it totally looks like there would be cans of Coke in there. The phone itself, it's like 2/3 on the back. It's like 2/3 of the red with like the Coca-Cola logo taking up most of the space, but it's kind of hacked off 2/3 of the way. So you can't even read the logo. I don't know. You got to really know that that's a Coca-Cola phone. Not that that's difficult to figure out, but, and then like a black racing stripe on the other side. I don't know. If you love Coca-Cola, I guess you can get a phone that says it now. So there you go. I don't think there's much more to be said about that other than that. There's 6,000 available. Oh, yeah. And it comes with this collectible Realme cat thing that's inside.
Is it a Coke? Is it jelly? What is that? What is that made of? It's like so it's like a translate. It looks like the Realme cat as if it was
made of Coca-Cola.
Made of Coca-Cola.
Molded Coca-Cola. Yeah.
Like solid Coca-Cola.
I think I'm at the point now where I've said Coca-Cola so many times it doesn't even sound like a real word anymore, and it just sounds like noises. It also comes with stickers. So if you
of course,
yeah, there's some stickers in there. Yeah.
I mean, there is a huge community of Coca-Cola collectors, so I can't imagine that's not going to be
that's
an
true.
item.
That's a really good point. Collectors, yes, there's probably not a whole lot of people that are buying this because they have to use on a regular basis a Coca-Cola phone, but collectors. Yeah, this is totally.
Yeah. This is up there.
Look
alley.
at this. Look at the sim. Look at the scroll up, Burke, back to the previous one with all the accoutrement. Look at the sim punch. What do you call it? The little
sim ejector.
The sim ejector. It's a bottle cap.
Oh, it is a bottle cap.
Oh, that's clever. That is clever. The little tool to go into the hole to punch out your SIM card is a bottle cap. That's clever.
Yeah, the handle part is a bottle cap that says Realme. That's okay. That's kind of cute. No, I want that. I'll just take that.
Yeah, there's a case in there. Okay. If anyone who's a Coca-Cola collector fan, whatever, there's your phone. There's your next phone.
Yep.
Realme got you covered. All right. Just drink it up. Like a tall glass of bubbling, fresh Coca-Cola.
Coca-Cola. Oh,
boy. We really need them to sponsor the show because we're giving them lots of free publicity right now. Not that they need it. We've got more hardware coming up. Right now, it's time for more hardware. Win, you got the next one.
Yeah, so this is actually pretty cool. Of the many different widgets and gizmos and technology that go into phones, something that doesn't get huge, updates or huge upgrades or huge kind of breakthroughs too often is the battery. I mean, certainly we talk about last week we talked about, was it Realme again? Who was it with the ridiculous 3,000, how many watt charging?
What was it? No, it wasn't the Flip. Sorry, we had a lot of stuff last week. Was it last? Oh, it was Redmi, 300 watt fast charging.
Sorry.
Redmi.
300 watt fast. So we kind of get that kind of stuff where everyone's kind of upping the ante on the fast charging or wireless charging or even, 22,000 milliamp batteries. Well, this is actually an entirely new battery technology. So we've talked, we have lithium ion batteries. There's nickel and IMH. I forgot what the other part of it is. So Honor have actually unveiled a new battery technology. It is a silicon carbon battery with, hold on to your butts here, 12.8% higher energy density, which I know doesn't sound like a lot, but given that it's just a whole different technology and the fact that they are able to squeeze 12.8%, higher energy density is interesting. So just to kind of, I technically have an electrical engineering degree, but I cannot explain any of this to you. But the higher energy density means that, say, if you had a battery the size and shape of a standard 5,100 milliamp battery, say lithium ion battery, if that was instead silicon carbon battery, that would actually become a 54 5,450 milliamp battery. So you would get 12.8% more capacity, 7% capacity out of it. So no, it's not a huge leap, but it is something new. It is something different. And if you are actually good at electrical engineering type stuff, the CEO of Honor, George Zhao, did say that the silicon carbon is basically able to maintain a better capacity at lower voltages. And it's something called low voltage aggregation technology. So if you actually understand what that means, write us and explain, because my electrical engineering degree is no good here. I haven't really done anything electrical engineering, so that's my bad. But yeah, 12.8% is not nothing. It's a new step in a new battery technology, which is kind of cool. And actually, Honor has released, it seems, a phone with this battery already in it, the Magic 5 Pro, and I believe the Magic 5 Ultimate as well will have these new silicon carbon batteries.
That's right. Magic 5 Pro released in certain markets will have the standard 5,100 milliamp hour battery, and then in other markets it will have that silicon carbon battery. So, they rate that at 5,450. So, and that's not adding any additional increase in weight, not adding any additional increase in size. Yeah, that's pretty interesting.
That's pretty good, actually.
I've wondered, because so many facets of phone design have, really developed and continue to develop in large jumps over the years. Display being, memory, these things that, if you look at a phone 10 or 12 years ago and look at what we have now, like, they're so much different. Battery sizes have generally, they've crept up, but there's been no real advance in the technology behind battery. It's still lithium ion, still gets roughly the way around that has been, how do we make charging faster, or how do we cut down on the processes that drain the battery, not on the technology itself. And so I've wondered, when does that technology advance? And this seems like a step in the right direction. I'm hoping that there will be more steps in that direction. But that's pretty awesome to get more bang out of the same size, so that's great.
I would be curious of any, sustainability, like recyclability of this like new technology. I don't know, because obviously battery recycling is kind of the hard thing. So I just kind of curious whether again, I don't know much, but I wonder if this is the same in terms of recyclability or better,
good question.
Worse. Who knows?
Probably TBD, because it's so new. Just because it's so new.
Yeah, it's so new. Who knows?
That's the aspect. It was funny because I was just talking to me and my dad were hanging out like a week or two ago, and we were talking about phones because he just got the new Samsung Galaxy S23, and I was complaining just how all phones look the same and blah blah blah. And we're talking about foldables and rollables and all this stuff like that. And basically where we netted out was that until there is some breakthrough in battery technology, and Jason, we've talked about this in the past. I feel like a couple of years ago we talked about it. And until there is some seismic, chemical breakthrough to change the way we deal with batteries and charging and stuff like that, we're stuck in this kind of world. And when we're talking about lithium ion, so it's great to see something different, if it's silicon carbon, to your point, I don't know what the recyclability aspect is or what the shelf life is going to expand in planes like the early lithium ions did. Remember those, the bulges? But something's got to change with batteries, right? And so this could be the first step.
Yeah, and this is so interesting. I did a search. I was trying to find some like recyclability information about silicon carbon materials, and I found a news report from just last October that researchers in Japan have developed a low-cost single-step process to produce silicon carbon materials for battery anodes from waste semiconductor materials. So cool. Taking waste and creating these batteries out of that in the process. So yeah, that's interesting. It didn't answer the question I was looking for, but that's fascinating also.
Cool. I was trying to Google some stuff, and a lot of academic papers came up.
It's like,
so that's when you know it's really new,
quickly,
right?
and tell you exactly what it means.
Like, never mind. New stuff on the horizon. So.
But there you go. Very neat. Good job, Honor. Okay, now it's time for some app news. Apps. My voice is cracking. Apps. apps.
All right. Well, talking about apps, recently we were talking about Google News and Artifact, the news app, the AI-based news app from the Instagram founders. And it's just funny because whenever it seems lately, the story of this year is we start talking about a topic and it just snowballs week after week. And sure enough, after Artifact came out, I discovered that there's another news app available called OptOut News. And if you are looking for a news app that aggregates all the news, podcasts, and streaming video from exclusively independent news publishers, you might want to check out OptOut. They are positioning themselves to be a independent, non-corporate news app, basically, throwing shade at both Google and Apple in that regard, saying that they are too corporate, serving the large, kind of corporate media, that sort of thing. OptOut has 180 news outlets. There are 2 requirements for being included in the app. They need to be financially independent and produce reliable and accurate journalism. And most importantly, which I think is great, because when I first started reading this, I'm like, oh, great, this is an app for crazy people. But no conspiracy theories. Like, it is straight up journalism, reputable journalism. And so if you are kind of concerned about whatever the corporate filters might be being applied to your news from a CNN or New York Times or whomever corporate interest that might exist, and there are more details about exactly what the requirements are. They can't be funded by corporations. They're not publicly traded, free of financial conflicts of interest, things like that. So it's interesting. So it's if you want, kind of tried and true independent journalism, check out OptOut News. I played with it. It seems a little neat. So yeah, it's another option out there for you.
OptOut News. Yep. Yeah, I have not checked this out myself.
I saw this come up, I think, on on Artifact, and I had the same initial reaction, like, oh, well, I'm not gonna. I had the same initial reaction that you did, Ron. So it's really cool to see that, like, they're actually kind of emphasizing non-corporate, because like a lot of like if you watch like Last Week Tonight or anything, they're always quoting kind of like smaller, like independent, news agencies that do actual investigative reporting. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry I just missed the notification right away because I made assumptions. And I made a butt out of you and me.
That's what they say. That's what happens.
When you assume.
That's right. Cool. Well, and you did just say the word butt, by the way.
Butt.
Which I didn't pick up on the great segue opportunity. I don't even know why I put this in here, to be honest. It was just something... It was just something that we were talking about in Slack. It seemed like something we needed to bring on the show, but really I don't even know what I have to say about it. Beauty filters now apparently on the Techno Phantom V Fold foldable phone. It has a filter along with the bevy of beauty filters that it offers. One filter is called Plump Butt. And apparently this is a filter that you use when you want your butt to be plump.
A plump butt.
Yeah. So that's a thing. And it's a thing that I will never use, but it's a thing. Someone out there has a reason to use a plump butt filter, and I'm not judging, but just so you know, if that's what you're looking for, you need the Techno Phantom V Fold foldable phone. This is the effect. Yes, look at the butt of this individual and see how it is plump in the other photo. There you go. Android Authority did a write-up that's worth reading through.
I'm very susceptible to Instagram ads, as I have mentioned, and in my feed there's often, specialized workout pants. It's like a thing on fitness influencers, especially if you identify as a woman, to have a plump butt for your vids. So I think it's a brilliant idea. I don't actually, I know Flo and I kind of went back and forth kind of ranting about insane beauty standards on social media and they're terrible and evil. But from a business perspective, it's kind of brilliant because there's definitely a niche for this, a butt shaped niche.
Yeah.
So, oh my gosh.
A niche in the shape of a butt. Okay. Anyways, yes, I see it, Burke. Yes, the bad word on the screen.
Uh-huh.
Yes, I'm not going to speak it for all of you audio listeners, but there was a bad word on the screen. It had to do with butt. Okay, we're done. I think. Well, wait a minute. No, we're not. Look at the icon. I had not seen the icon.
Whoa. Look at that. So how would we describe this, everyone?
It looks like a line drawing of a butt is basically how
it is.
Yeah.
So imagine all of when you open Google Photos or the camera, and imagine all of the lovely, computational photography options that Google provides you, with very, easy to discern icons. Well, with this plump butt filter, you have very appropriate icons for thin waists, plump behinds. What is that one? I can't see.
Slim legs.
Slim legs, lengthening
legs.
So yeah, it's very reminiscent of the Google photo or the Google pixel camera icons, just for different type of computational photography.
Yeah. I do not envision Google anytime soon integrating an automatic plump butt mode into photos. We plump butted one of your pictures for you. Here, check it out.
I love it.
Hang on. Someone at Google's going, hang on, let's hear them out. Hold on.
They might actually be onto something.
I know it's coming up. What can the AI do on the chip? What do we got in there? Let's plump up those butts.
We've looked at the talking points for Google I/O. We are one feature shy. We need to come up with something. We need to come up with it fast. Plump butt in Google Photos.
Oh goodness.
Okie dokie. Well, there we go. That happened. All right, Win. You got the next one.
I am not going to try to segue from that smoothly, but you know what we need right now? We need us some JR. And if you have been a bit befuddled by what's up with Google Reminders, JR has a really nice alternative for you in this week's Android Intelligence Tip. What you got for us, JR?
Hey, a very merry March to ye. So we're kind of in this awkward in-between time with reminders on Android right now. You know the drill, right? Google's in the midst of moving its assistant reminder system into Google Tasks and making that the primary hub for any and all reminders you create anywhere on your phone or on any other Google-associated device. That's all well and good, but there's another interesting way to manage your reminders on Android, and it brings a pretty neat twist into the equation. It comes by way of a promising new app I've been playing around with lately called Noterly. Noterly. It's basically an intelligent reminder system that lives entirely in your phone's notifications. Here's how it works. You can open up the app anytime to create custom notifications for helping you remember anything you need, really. The notifications can either appear immediately, right away as soon as you make them, or you can schedule them for the future so that they show up at a specific upcoming date and time. Oh, and you can set them up to repeat, of course, on any regular interval you need, hourly, daily, weekly, you name it. Now, unlike Google's reminder system, any reminders you set within Noterly stay only on your phone. So that could be a pro or a con, really, depending on your perspective. But all basics aside, Noterly has some really cool features that make it especially effective to use. Let me show you 3 that have really stood out to me. First, in addition to letting you give each notification its own title and body text, Noterly lets you assign it a color. That way you can make it stand out or maybe even associate it with a specific category of reminder. Second, the notifications Noterly creates are persistent. This is big for me. That means you can't accidentally swipe them away. They disappear only when you tap the Mark is Done option inside of them. And third, on a related note, Noterly's alerts stick around even after your phone restarts. That way you can rely on them to be there even if you get an update or shut your phone down for any other reason. It's a pretty great bit of reassurance to have and something that definitely isn't always the case with those Google Assistant and Google Tasks reminders. All in all, it's a pretty interesting, purpose-specific alternative to Android's more traditional task and reminder services. If you like the idea of your reminders existing entirely and reliably on your phone, well, it might be just the brain supplementing solution you didn't know you needed. You can download Noterly from the Play Store. We'll put a link in this week's show notes for you. It's completely free and even ad-free for now. The app doesn't require any unusual permissions, and its privacy policy is crystal clear about the fact that no personal data is ever collected or shared in any way. And hey, if you like learning about useful new goodies like this, you've got to come check out my Android Intelligence newsletter. It gives you 3 new things to try every Friday, along with all sorts of other tasty treats. It's completely free for you too. Just head on over to androidintel.net/twit to get in on the action and get a trio of special bonus tips this very minute too. That site again is androidintel.net/twit. Just a heads up, by the way, I won't be here next week. I'm taking a few days off around our kids' spring break. Gonna try to unplug the old brain a little, maybe let it reset. I know. Try to withhold your tears. I will miss you too, dearly. I'll be back the week after that, though, and we'll pick right back up with lots more practical, maybe even slightly fragrant new tips for the coming spring season. I'll see you soon.
I'm a little concerned about the fragrant.
That's a tease. That's a tease if I ever heard it. A fragrant tip.
But he was wearing a T-shirt with pizza, so maybe it smells like pizza. And in that case, I'm okay with that.
And it did say Taco Tuesday, and I had tacos for dinner tonight. So
yeah, I was a little confused by the T-shirt this time. The pizza's not taco. What am I missing?
I can't tell if he was sincere or sarcastic about missing us next week. I couldn't tell.
It sounded pretty sarcastic.
I think it's sincere.
He rides the spectrum back and forth. He leaves you. You're not quite sure. Yeah, exactly.
You never truly know what's in the mind of J.R. Raphael, but you do know what app he suggested, and that is Noterly. Check it out on the Play Store, Google Play. Get some simple reminders. Looks like a nicely developed app. It looks very clean, very pretty. Mm-hmm. And do not forget also his Android Intelligence newsletter. So, subscribe to that, androidintel.net/twit.
Maybe
Thank you,
Taco
JR.
Tuesday thing is like a Google thing.
I don't know. I'm still confused by it, to be honest. If you know what it is, email us. AAA@twit.tv. Yes, we need email about what JR's shirt means in next episode of All About Android. Speaking of email, we've got your feedback coming up next. AAA@twit.tv, 347-SHOW AAA is the place to go, or the place to send us your feedback anyways. We go to feedback, which is where we are right now. Mike in Camarillo, California. Mike, by the way, left a voicemail while I was out a few weeks ago on episode 617 about satellite phones. So this is kind of a follow-up. He says, "It's me again. I was giddy to hear my voice on the show a few episodes ago. Ron, you don't have a crystal ball? I expected more from you." Me too. I expect more from Ron all the time. Just kidding, Ron. Wow. Just kidding.
I'm right here.
I know.
Jeez.
I know. Yeah. Thanks, man. Sorry about that. It's looking like Motorola may be the first Android satellite phone to market for $599 with 1 year of satellite service included, and $499, that's $4.99 per month afterwards. This sounds right up my alley. It's the Motorola Defy 2. Mike says, the fact that it's from Motorola gives me a pause because of their reputation for poor Android update policy, but 2 years of OS updates plus 5 years of security updates sounds downright reasonable to me. See AAA previous discussions of pros and cons of phone performance after many years of OS updates. Yeah, that's a good point. Wow. Thank you for all the entertainment and information. And there you go. So Motorola actually announced a couple of things at Mobile World Congress along these lines. They had the Motorola Defy Satellite Link Bluetooth accessory, which is exactly what it sounds like. It's a Bluetooth accessory that brings this satellite connectivity to a device that you have on you. But they also announced the actual phone, which is the Defy 2 smartphone. $599, like he said, comes with the satellite capability baked into the phone. So Motorola making it happen now, but far before Google is able to do what it needs to do, and I'm certain will happen at some point. We'll get satellite connectivity compatibility built into Android. I'm trying to remember, is that kind of like earmarked for Android 14 or is this beyond? I'm not really quite sure, but Motorola's doing it now. So there you go.
Yeah, I gotta remember, and now my Dayquil is wearing off, so bear with me.
Oh no!
I know that when we talked about it on the show, Jason, you were off, and there was some announcements in early January about bringing it to Android, but I don't think it's dependent on the OS though.
Well, so Android 14 is going to support satellite connectivity and partners, according to an article last September, looking forward to Android 14, which had not been announced yet at that time. Hiroshi Lockheimer had tweeted at that time that we're designing for satellites. Excited to support our partners in enabling all this in the next version of Android. This was last September.
And what we had talked about was we referenced the January 5th article from the BBC that referenced the partnership between Iridium and Qualcomm to bring that satellite connectivity to Android smartphones later this year.
Got it. Okay, so it is on the horizon.
Yep.
No pun intended. And Motorola is still doing it before it becomes official. So good on you, Motorola.
Yeah, I don't think, Mike, I don't think you need to be that harsh on Motorola. I mean, I think that Motorola, I think their business has, is wide in regards of what they do, and I could see this satellite phone, this approach with the Defy as being a specific niche, right? Like that they're not going to treat the same way as like the Moto G, So
yeah, that's true.
But we'll see. Who knows? Time will tell. And I don't have a crystal ball, Mike. I'm sorry.
Jeez.
But anyway,
you need to up your crystal ball game.
I know.
Yeah,
Jesus.
Ron, what's up with that?
Anyway, our next email comes from Peter in Columbia, Maryland, who says, Huynh, please explain what is so exciting about widgets on foldables. Parentheses, if you didn't later in the episode, I'm doing the risky thing of sending an email before finishing listening to the episode.
Bad move.
But so Huynh, what is so exciting about widgets on foldables?
Okay, so what I was excited about was actually what Flo mentioned was which is actually a Samsung One UI 5 thing, which is widget stacks. So I will answer the question though, and I found I was a little bit nervous before the show about showing any sensitive information, but hey, why am I brain farting on this? Here, look at this calendar app on the Z Fold 4. Look how nice and spacious it is. I can actually. It
does look spacious. That looks useful.
I can actually read. Look, here's my husband's birthday right here. Here's the show, all about Android. It's backwards and up, and then here's my nutrition coaching. But look how spacious this is. And this, I mean, legitimately, this is kind of a silly example, but I mean, this is a very good use of the calendar widget.
Yeah,
useful.
Totally. Yep.
But what Flo had got me really excited about was widget stacks. So widget stacks is something that iOS does have, where you can actually have a container. It's almost like if you think about the icon folders that you already have, but being able to kind of have widgets stack on top of each other and being able to flip through each widget. So as an example, this is my email, and I took out all the sensitive stuff. Hold on. Let me zoom in a little more. Hold on. I got you, Burke. There you go, focus. So say that you have multiple email boxes, inboxes, and see, so I have for example, one here, and oh my gosh, where's my finger? Hold on, this is tough. You can easily swap between, two different widgets, which could be two different inboxes in your Gmail.
So those are two widgets stacked on each other right there?
Those are two widgets.
And it's not the same widget, just you can, that's so cool.
Yeah, I mean, they can be different widgets. I, for example, have to use Microsoft Outlook. I know, for work. And then I also have Google Calendar. So imagine I had this, but I have my work calendar, which is an Outlook widget, and then a Google Calendar widget, and I can just flip back and forth, so that I can kind of compare my day between my work calendar
That looks
and my personal calendar. I also have a really dumb one. So what you do is if you're on One UI 5, you long press on a widget, and then it will actually show you a create stack icon, and then you can select another widget that can be stacked on top of it. Flo did mention that they kind of have to be widgets of comparable size. So if you have one of those widgets that just is stuck in a certain dimensions, that might be a no-go, but it's really handy. This is a real dumb one, but I like it. So I had up until very recently both the Google. So this is the Google Chrome search bar. And then there's also the Google search bar. And I have both because I want sometimes just to directly search in Chrome, but I also like having, the Google Lens button and the Google Assistant right away. So now it's a stack. So I can just, I know this is really silly.
Oh, that's neat.
But instead of having two bars, I can just have,
that's so much better.
Yeah.
I love that. That's
so
really cool.
that is a One UI 5 feature. It wasn't specific to foldables, but I think generally widgets on foldables are great. But yeah, it was more just widget stacks on
neat.
Samsung. Go Samsung. And
love it.
UI.
So to go back to the email, so Peter, there you go. There's why Win is excited about widgets on foldables. Peter shared, Jason, his widgets on home screen 1. He's got the Pocket Cast mini controls, analog clock, YouTube music mini controls. And on home screen 2, he's got Gmail, great for skimming for urgent messages, and Google Calendar to see what's coming up and to add events. So there you go. So Peter's in the widget camp. And then finally, Peter chimes in on the alien video crashing the Pixel. He says, this is serious. The next step after being able to crash a device is an exploit. It's good that they fixed it quickly. Steve Gibson says it's extremely difficult to make secure media interpreters, so efforts to make the processes run with limited privileges are good. And it's always great to see flow. And I agree with you there, Peter. So thanks for writing in, Peter. Widgets, crashes, foldables, that was a great email. Good job.
Yeah, covered a lot of ground. Yeah. Thank you, Peter. All right, Win, you've got the honor this week.
Yes, and it is time. It is time for the email of the week. And the email of the week this week is from David B. And David B writes us, hello, AAA crew. That S23 video was impressive. You might check out a similarly pro video called Jackals and Fireflies filmed on an S22 Ultra. You'll notice they filmed in terrible lighting and still got usable footage out of it. This was possible because they filmed it at least partially with a third-party app called MotionCam. This app records lossless raw video, holy monkey, a lot like Red cameras do, and the file sizes are truly enormous. You basically need an attached NVMe drive to take long clips. So far as I know, MotionCam is the only app on either Android or iOS that can do this. You have to render the video afterwards, and the workflow is terrible, but you can grade the footage with professional tools and squeeze the best color and detail you can get out of those tiny phone sensors. Cheers, David B. And that's really cool. We got a video. We've got a video for Jackals and Fireflies.
Yeah, this is the trailer. The official trailer for it anyways, which probably shows a little bit of an example. It's in the doc next to the email. Sorry, Burke. And for those of you wondering, you just go to the Play Store. If you do a search for MotionCam, one word, you'll find the app that does this. But being able to record in lossless. So that's the app on the Play Store. And above that is a YouTube video. Although, are we going to get taken down? I don't even know. But
careful.
It's so dark that you could hardly even see anything. But so this was shot on the S22 Ultra.
Yeah.
With that app. Wow, a lot of low light stuff.
This is really amazing. I mean, the app itself, if you look at MotionCam in the Play Store, this is an intense app. This is definitely a pro level app.
Interesting. Well, and this is just the trailer, so I don't know where, if the full version of this is available on YouTube if you want to see, but yeah, it looks like this is all dedicated to really low light shots, and that's pretty impressive. It looks pretty darn good for a phone sensor, right?
Yeah, especially going through a professional workflow with lossless raw video, and then being able to actually do color grading and things on, presumably what on most forms of normal phones is not really gradable because of, I presume, the lack of bits. Sorry, I've lost all my video parlance. Where's Ann? But that's pretty dang impressive. I mean, obviously, so that kind of shows that maybe like not everybody can like do amazing cinematic quality. I mean, I guess you can, but you need the professional tools to squeeze out that color and detail, as David B said. But this is a really cool insight into, how you can actually use your phone properly as a proper camera, just like the multi-tens of $1,000 red cameras, obviously a little bit smaller, but yeah, for that wonderful insight, David B, that is why you are our
Email of the Week.
Email of the Week.
Excellent. Thank you, David B. Thank you to everyone who sent in emails this week. That's Mike, that's Peter, that's David. And thank you to you for watching and listening, because we are at the end of the episode. Ron, we'll let you say goodbye first because your medicine's wearing off. And
it is completely worn off. So
I'm sorry.
My lovely inherited. Remember earlier in the show I mentioned my daughter named Luna. Yeah, she's in pre-K and brings home germs.
Yes, indeed.
So here we are. But yeah, go follow me on Twitter or on Instagram where I post. I don't post that often, but you want to follow me just in case, because when I do, it's gold. And I'll leave it at that. So,
it's must watch, read
social media. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you, Ron. Good to see you. I didn't mean what I said earlier when I said something mean about you. Okay.
I know you did.
I can't even remember what I said, but I didn't mean it, whatever it was.
It was a lack of a crystal ball. I remember what you said. You know what you
did. You're awesome in my book. And so are you, Wynn. Thank you for being on tonight. What do you want to leave people with?
I'm an Android developer. You can find my Androidy things at my website, randomlytyping.com, which, by the way, I let the domain expire. And so a very wonderful member of the Android faithful pinged me and let me know. So thank you very much, John. And I know I probably had some emails bounced me. So anyway, thank you. Y'all are awesome. Find my dev stuff at randomlytyping.com and find me on the social medias at Queen Cook. And I love being on the show and getting to talk to y'all every week, or at least the weeks that I'm here, which is most weeks.
Thank you, and always good to see you. Big thanks to JRA Feel. Have a great break next week. Don't forget, androidintel.net/twit is where you go to subscribe to JR's newsletter. Check it out. He sends out some really great tips every week, so you really need to check it out. Big thanks to Burke. Yeah, there it is. Android Intelligence. It's easy. You just plug your email in there and then poof, you get smarter. Burke, thank you, sir, for everything that you do. Thank you, Victor, for everything that you do. Without these two people behind the scenes, we would not have a show for you. We would have half the show, but it wouldn't actually get to your ears and your eyes. So thank you for everything you do. You can find me at Jason Howell on Twitter, twit.social/@Jason Howell, on Mastodon. Not really doing a whole lot there these days, but that's okay. I'm there, and I might start again. I just don't know. And then you can find my other show, an interviews-based show with Micah Sargent called Tech News Weekly. That's every Thursday, twit.tv/TNW. And then there's Club Twit. Club Twit is a wonderful, magical place filled with candy canes and gumdrops, and also ad-free shows. So you get all of our shows with no ads. You get exclusive Twit Plus podcast feed content, tons of extra content, shows that don't exist anywhere else. I think we just announced Home Theater Geeks returning to the club, which is pretty awesome. And a whole bunch of other shows behind the club as well. And then members only Discord. I'm sorry, we do not actually give you gumdrops or candy canes, but everything else I said was true. $7 a month, $84 per year. And it helps us keep the lights on in this kind of sponsorship dry-ish time period that we're in with the recession and everything, feeling the impacts of that. So thank you, because your support really does help. twit.tv/clubtwit. That's it for this week's episode. We do the show every Tuesday evening. So twit.tv/AAA is our show page on the web. If you just go there, you can subscribe to the show. Then you don't have to think about, like, did a new episode hit? Let me go check for it, play it from the site. You don't need to do any of that stuff. Go there, subscribe, you'll get it. That's the beauty of podcasting. Thank you so much for watching and listening to each and every episode of All About Android. We'll see you next time, next week on All About Android. Bye, everybody.
So long.
Goodbye to you.
Hey, I'm Rod Pyle, Editor-in-Chief of Ad Astra Magazine, and each week I join with my co-host to bring you This Week in Space, the latest and greatest news from the final frontier. We talk to NASA chiefs, space scientists, engineers, educators, and artists, and sometimes we just shoot the breeze over what's hot and what's not in space, books, and TV. And we do it all for you, our fellow true believers. So whether you're an armchair adventurer or waiting for your turn to grab a slot in Elon's Mars rocket, join us on This Week in Space and be part of the greatest adventure of all time.